So let's be real. You don't need another time blocking template. You don't need to wake up earlier or just push through another week of juggling all the things. If your business feels like a constant game of catch up, it's not because you're bad at managing your time. But today's guest says it's because you're still trying to run your growing business with DIY systems. Oh, that might be an ouch. That might be an ouch or a sting or vibes alone. Listen, you're locked in at the right place here for episode 770 of the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. And our topic today is what happens when you outgrow your business systems. We have Katrina Butler with us, and she is over in the virtual studio. Listen, we're going to get right into it right after this quick intro. Don't you move.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. We are super excited to have you watching, if you're live, certainly from various places on Facebook. We love you over on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to whatever channel you're watching this on. Thank you so much for those that are checking us out on LinkedIn. And of course, those of you that say, hey, I'm just watching and listening from Sharvette.com. We appreciate you. And for those in our podcast systems, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, we thank you so much for being here and being a part of the show, because you know the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And I'm telling you what, if you are a business owner, anywhere around near a business owner, grab them and say, hey, you need to be checking out the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Listen, we want to let you know that this segment, again, segment 770, yes, you heard that correctly, is being brought to you by the Platform Builder program. This is our 12-month group coaching program focused on marketing and visibility. And guess what? Enrollment wraps up on Friday. So go ahead and jump over to platformbuilder.biz, and let's have a chat and see this is the next step for you to take with your marketing and your visibility. Shout out over on YouTube already. Hello, Roberto. Good to see you. Marilyn hanging out there. And again, thank you for all those that, check us out all the time. So listen, my guest is ready. Let me go ahead and share a little bit more as we jump into today's segment here, which is really what happens when you outgrow your business systems. And so Katrina Butler is with us. She is the founder and CEO of KRB Executive Services LLC, which is a virtual support agency that helps service-based women entrepreneurs ditch overwhelm and grow thriving businesses. Known as the chaos organizer, Katrina launched her business at the height of the pandemic and quickly made a name for herself as a strategic partner for visionary entrepreneurs. And listen, she is a Dubsado Certified Specialist. She's also an Asana Services and Solutions partner with a proven track record of helping clients streamline operations, increase productivity, and reach their business goals with confidence. Go ahead and put your hands together as we welcome up to the stage live on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, Katrina. Welcome. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing well. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, the audience is cheering.
I love it.
We got to do it right. All right. So excited. Certainly we have, been in these internet streets together and been, throughout really Richmond and kind of intertwined. But this is kind of like one of our maybe first or second time really kind of interacting?
Yeah, I think actually I met you for the first time in person at like a conference that my mom was actually attending for her business.
Yeah.
Is where I heard of you for the first time. That was like 2018, maybe North
Yeah.
Carolina somewhere. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even have a business then, but at least at the time when I did start my business, I said, I know where to go.
Yeah,
I know where
yeah.
to go. So yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I definitely want to jump right on in, Katrina. So, what are some of the first signs that an entrepreneur has outgrown their current, business systems?
Yeah. So I'd say one of the biggest signs is decision fatigue. When every
Mm,
day just kind of feels like a fire drill. That panicky when you first hear that alarm, you're
yeah.
stuck answering the same questions or redoing the same task over and over. I would also say like missed client follow-ups, your onboarding isn't smooth, your team is confused, things are slipping through the cracks. Those are all signs that your business has grown, but your systems haven't caught up.
And I was just saying, probably 2 weeks ago, I was just saying that I've heard business mentors even say, as your business grows, like your system, things are going to break. Like and that's actually a sign of success. It is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a sign of success. And so you are, affectionately known as the chaos organizer. And so, what types of chaos are you most often, walking into when you first meet up with a client?
Yeah, so the chaos organizer is a name that I gave myself because it just perfectly captures what I do.
Yeah.
I walk into businesses that are thriving, but they're kind of overwhelmed on the back end, and that
Mhm.
chaos usually looks like just kind of scattered tools, unclear team roles, and business owners are really just kind of holding everything together by their memory and grit. So my job is just kind of to like bring calm and like clarity and structure so that they can
Yeah.
lead.
Oh, that's so good. And certainly you launched your agency during the pandemic. So like you said, we met in 2018, didn't have a business, and then certainly the pandemic happens. And while now you are you launched your business and your agency. And so what challenges or advantages, did that bring when helping entrepreneurs with their, systems, because it was such a critical time?
Yeah, so 2020, the year of chaos, um,
Yeah.
and the pivot, right? Like, everyone was suddenly forced to rethink how they operated. And that word, like pivot, was everywhere. We have to pivot. We have to pivot. That in unprecedented times. So
Yeah.
at that time, I was still doing a lot of general admin work as a VA,
Okay.
but I started noticing that my clients didn't need help just like checking boxes. They needed like a
Mm.
bit more leadership, a bit
Yeah.
more structure, and also like the type of person that I am, neurodiverse people. We have to know the whys of things.
Mm.
So it just didn't sit well with me when they're like, okay, well, we can do this and do this and do this. And I'm like, but what is the purpose of this task
Mm.
and goal? Like, what is the overall vision that you see? So that season really just kind of pushed me to level up and lean into what I was really gifted at, which was like organizing things and planning things, and just being of service to other women. And I feel like the advantage at that time was people were ready to change. They just needed
Yeah.
someone to help them along the way.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And have you seen a big shift, like, post pandemic? People refer to this kind of space as the new normal and all of that. Are you still
Mhm.
seeing some of the same things?
There are some things. I know there was some changes when people went back to like brick and mortar, and then there were others that were like, I will never go into an office again. Like
Yeah.
I can still, be a leader in my field or industry, whatever I'm doing, but I
Mhm.
don't need all of these extra things because I have, a new system in place where, I don't have to spend so much time in like a commute or managing an in-office team or anything like that. So yeah, I'd say some of those things definitely stuck around.
All right, wonderful. And if you're just popping on in, hey there, you're checking out the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. And we have Katrina Butler here, chaos organizer, owner of KR. be executive services. And so, Katrina, in your experience, why do you feel that many women entrepreneurs in particular wait too long to update or upgrade their systems, right? It's like, I want to wait to the last minute. Hey, Auntie Val.
So there's two big reasons: time and money. Most of the women I work with, they're wearing all the hats, they're managing clients and trying to stay afloat. So even if they know their systems aren't working, fixing them is just, it feels like a luxury they can't afford to slow down for. And if we're being like really real, some of these platforms are not cheap. So if you're, not consistently bringing in enough to cover your expenses and pay yourself, system upgrades, they take a back seat. But what I always try and remind clients is the right system is an investment that gives you, more time and ultimately more revenue back. Like when I first started, and I was getting Dubsado, it was a little bit cheaper then anyway, 5 years ago. But I was like, I'm not bringing in enough money, but I know that I need this tool. I was driving for Lyft so that I could pay for it.
Like we find a way, make a way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love that. Hey, Gwen, we see you popped in. And also, I think what is powerful too about thinking about systems as a team member. I was literally just saying this to one of our platform builder clients, is that your website, for instance, that is an employee of your business. And so I think if we even have that kind of lens on it, when you think about the investment in a system, it will help to put it in perspective. And I know some of you are saying, what is Dubsado? What is Asana? Listen, I'm going to let Katrina tell you, you listen, she's going to tell you right now. And so we kind of name dropped, some of the tools and kind of our tech stack. And so, you as a Dubsado Certified Specialist and also an Asana partner, what do these platforms help solve? And, when should a business seriously consider implementing, these two specialty sites that you're intimately familiar with?
Yeah. So actually, full transparency, for 2025, I did not renew my Dubsado certification because my family and I were relocating to Mexico. So that's where I currently am right now. We live in Mexico now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I still use it every single day. And I'm one of their testers for the brand new Dubsado 3.0. So I'm still deep in the mix of what's working, what's coming. And if you haven't heard of Dubsado, it's a CRM, which is a client relationship management tool. So using it for streamlining your client journey, things like proposals, contracts, canned emails, and scheduling.
Wow. And then Asana is similarly.
Yeah. So as far as for Asana, I've actually gone just a little step above Asana services partner, like in the past 2 weeks or so.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So I was like studying. I was like, I'm not going to put that on the thing to let you know in case I didn't pass the exam. Because I was like, it's a time test. I was like, I don't think so. But I am now a certified Asana workflow specialist, which means I can now help businesses design like smart, scalable systems in that tool. So Asana is a project management tool, if you didn't know that, but you can also use it as your internal operations hub. So keeping track of like goals and portfolios, and you can connect it to your other apps like Zoom and Slack and Google Drive. And like Asana is that center.
Cool. That hub. Wonderful, wonderful. And I love this. So you're literally in Mexico. I did not know you were in Mexico. So we always say the Sharvette Mitchell radio show is international. So anyone that just, needed any proof, here we go. So shout out to, are you living the nomad digital life?
Not really. I mean, I'm now actually a legal resident here, so I don't really have any plans of moving anywhere else right now, but I've just always wanted to live abroad. I've always wanted to be in Mexico, honestly, since I was like a kid. So we're living childhood dreams right now, and my business being virtual is allowing me to do that. Wonderful,
wonderful. And so what would be a signal, like if someone should have Dubsado or should get Asana? And I see a comment coming in. Gwen says Asana is good if you can get the flow of it. Might take a minute. LOL, might take a minute. Any response to this comment?
Absolutely. Anything, that's actually worth having, it takes a little time to learn. I find Asana to be fairly easy. And one of the things that I do is I love finding things that are cost efficient. Like, I don't know, like if people that know my mom was like, she is a budgeter always, all the time when we were growing up, the queen of coupons and discounts or whatever. So like saving money is important, especially as entrepreneurs. So that's one of the main reasons why I started using it. But the reason why I stuck with it and I was like, oh, I need to know everything about this is because it's so useful. There are certain things that you can start slowly, start with templates if you don't know how to build things on your own, and then, just add on to it. And same like with Dubsado, there's a learning curve for sure, especially with them making updates every year. You have to learn something else. But it's worth having. And, if you're trying to figure out if it's something that you need, think about like how your day looks. Are you juggling tasks in your head? Are you writing them on sticky notes? Are you, just setting reminders on your phone, spending a lot of time completing manual tasks? Then it's time for tools like these to step in.
All right, that's good right there. What happens when you outgrow your business system or you outgrow that sticky note? There with Katrina Butler, chaos organizer, absolutely. Time and money, Roberto. Yeah, time and money. That's what we're talking about over here, and absolutely just seems to have a lot of moving parts. So you have to start slow, or this is where you make a decision to engage with an agency such as Katrina Butler, because you've solved and you figured it all out, right? Yeah. And so certainly walk us through any either case studies or client success stories where, they maybe had outdated systems or just were doing things maybe a little bit more antiquated and it was holding their business back. What changed after you stepped in and your agency stepped in?
Absolutely. So there's a client that I was working with, still work with, so she may know who she is in this. But she was using some okay tools, like nothing that was broken, but just kind of older systems. They didn't communicate well with each other, even with Zapier in place, which is another tool, y'all. It's an automation tool. And I kept encouraging her to update these tools because, they were just kind of slowing down her growth. And she was hesitant. So over the course of about 2 years, we started upgrading her tools like one by one to more like seamless and modern platforms. And then during that time, we were also revamping her main course offering. And so now the result of making those changes, she's consistently making sales when she launches said course. And I feel like the best part is all she has to say is like, Katrina, I'm doing the course again. And then she just shows up for the live sessions because the systems are doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes. So, that's giving her more freedom. It's giving her cash flow and, just kind of less stress overall.
Oh, wonderful. If someone is listening saying, okay, I need some support in that space, what's the best way for them to interact and to see what services you have and certainly actually share the services that you offer?
Absolutely. So my website is a wealth of information where you can find all of the services. So that would be either, getting started with Asana. I can do like a workshop if you already have the team. Like together, you just need help with the tool. If you need someone to set it up, as well as VIP days for Dubsado, I can set that up for you as well to get those in place. And then afterwards, OBM retainers. So that's for online business management or operations. If you just need someone to just kind of step in and make sure your business is still running while you do all the other things that you want to do. That's the simplest way that I can put it is someone run my business so that I can do my business.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And how can they follow you online on the social platforms?
You can follow me on every platform at KRB Executive Services. On YouTube at KB The Exec, and I believe it's the same for Threads as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And if you're just tuning in, or if you're listening from the podcast, look down below in the show notes, or if you're on Sharvette.com, look down below in the show notes. We have the links there for you. So you can have an easy connection point right there. And I'm curious as to AI, right? Artificial intelligence and all of that has really kind of swept in since your agency started. What are the impacts and what are the things that you see with artificial intelligence and people kind of looking at their systems maybe being outgrown?
That's a loaded one. So one, depending on like what it is, I love AI. Now, some of those videos, they're creepy. They're kind of creepy, but I mean, I use ChatGPT occasionally. In Canva, they have that whole Canva magic. Love it. I love it so much. And I think, I know some people are saying, oh, AI is going to replace humans. I'm like, it's not. I don't think that it is, because it has to be trained by a person. It does not have thoughts of its own.
Right.
It can only pull from information that it is given. It has no unique ideas. So there's that part. But also, people connect to stories. They connect to humans. They do not connect to robots. So even if someone is using ChatGPT, like I have to give it my story. I have to give it my knowledge in order for it to write for me.
Yeah. So goes hand in hand, not a replacement, but certainly something that is going hand in hand. And so, which a little bit of a mindset shift, right? And so talking about mindset, what mindset shifts are necessary for entrepreneurs to really embrace new systems or even delegate, operations? So this is kind of almost like a twofold thing. What are the mindset things that have to be dealt with?
And it's one that I had to do as well when I started delegating to my own team. I would say the biggest shift is this: letting go is not losing control, it's gaining capacity. So what I mean is, like, you don't have to do everything to ensure that it's done well. Delegating and automating, like, I love people would say, like, creating space for your genius, but also for rest. And you just really have to release that perfectionist mindset, talking to myself here, because systems, like, they're not all about perfection, they're about progress. And in this, instance, done is better than perfect when it comes
all
to
day long.
Like the system that you're even building now, it's not going to be the same system that you have in 2 years because it changes based off of experiences that you have. Like the contracts and stuff that I have now are different from when I first started. You know why? Because I got burned and someone didn't pay me. Like, right. And so it's different now. Right. And so you just have to at least start somewhere, create a foundation, and then build on that.
That's such a great point around systems even evolving. And so I always look at systems that I have in place for Mitchell Productions. And I love to see, a notification, hey, new update, new feature, you can now do this. And so I think that is just from a system standpoint, like we're always elevating our mindset, but then the systems are always a good system is also always kind of growing and moving. I think that's something that people can certainly consider and look at. Let me capture this. Thank you, Gwen. When do you feel someone needs to move to an automated system? Question one. And then two, how many workers, employees, or ventures? So I guess, do you need to have a certain number of employees or contractors to move to something more automated?
Great question. I would say the feeling would be unique to you. You know what stress feels like in your body as far as how many workers or employees. I started when I was by myself. I feel like that's a thing that entrepreneurs do, or solopreneurs when they start. You'll see them on social media. When we and a team, I am the team.
Yeah.
I am the team, and I can be the team because I had automations in place to help me. So if I wanted to have, clients coming in, the client journey was already automated. I just had to show up to the consultation call or to the kickoff call or whatever that we're doing. And so I needed that so that I could focus on doing client work instead of having to stop and like, let me send this email and stop, let me follow up and stop and send this form. So yeah, you can start solo.
Solo, which is actually really, really great because I wanted to kind of talk about solopreneurs or even those that may have a small team, and small can be one other person, small can be five other people. What's the first system they should focus on, getting in order?
Mm, I would say client journey. So from the moment someone inquires to the day you wrap up that project or whatever type of business you have, that process needs to feel smooth and repeatable, saving you some time, improve your client experience, and it really just sets the tone for your growth.
Great. And would you say that's one system or that is a combination of systems?
It can be a combination. So when I say system, I mean the whole entire thing. Now there are parts. So like Dubsado is a part of my system. Asana is a part of my system. Slack or WhatsApp Business, Google Drive, those are all parts of my system, and they talk to each other. So that's what I mean by that. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And so certainly you help women, move past stagnation. And what role really do systems actually play in fueling growth, and not just kind of like managing tasks? I think sometimes systems, we just think they're siloed, but really, how do you want to think about a system as fueling the growth of a business?
Right. So I believe that systems just kind of unlock that growth. They're giving you clarity, consistency. They're increasing your capacity. So when you're no longer buried in busy work, you can dream bigger. You can show up more. You can scale sustainably. They don't just manage your business. They multiply what's working and it removes what's not.
Yeah. So the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate you.
Sorry, I just saw like a question pop up. You said what continues to motivate me?
Yes.
As far as like in my business,
in life, in anything, however you would like to answer it.
What I'm doing right now is kind of motivating me. I didn't think when I started this business in February 2020 that I'd be sitting here in Mexico. Someone was living that I'm living my childhood dream. I think that was Gwen. Yeah. And I'm like, me too. I was like, I just celebrated my birthday last month and, went over to Playa del Carmen, but I was like, stuff is still working. I was like, client work had got done. I was like, hey, look, there's something that's posted on social media because there are people here to help me, that helped me to do this move here. And it's allowing me to do other things that I did not even think that I would also be doing. I have a whole separate YouTube channel and business that I'm growing here about the journey that we're living here in this new country. So I was like, I want to record everything, having systems and a team in place is allowing me to do that.
Wonderful. Let me capture April's comment. The tech stack is the system. Setting up correctly early is imperative, and there are a lot of pieces. Thanks, April, for that. That can go into a tech stack, and those in my what is a tech stack? Basically, all the technology that you're using for your business, and it'd be good to take an inventory of that, like all of the systems that you have, and that's really like your tech stack, and take an inventory of that. You might have some aha moments. I know I have recently had some aha moments.
You literally just beat me to that. That's like one of the first steps that I have in my process of auditing, what are you using? Or not even using, what tools do you have and are you actually using them? How much are they costing you, especially if you're not using them?
Yeah.
And are they working together? That's like step one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good there. Well, I'm telling you, our time just flew on by here. Episode 770. What happens when you outgrow your business systems? Any final thoughts? Any final comments, Katrina?
I would just say maybe a bit of encouragement. So I have this tattoo on my wrist from Harry Potter, big Potterhead, that says "Even in the darkest of times," and it reminded me of another quote from Professor Dumbledore, who's a character in that series, where he says, help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it. And while the context is a bit different, the sentiment still applies. So for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, someone that's thinking about, growing, you're not falling behind when these things look like they're falling apart. You're literally like at a breakthrough. If you're, feeling overwhelmed, it's not because you're failing, it's because your business is evolving. Yeah. So instead of waiting for things to crash, invest in support. You deserve systems that match, your excellence, a team that supports your vision. You don't have to do everything alone. Help is here. You just have to ask for it.
You just have to ask. Well said. That wraps it up. Thank you so much, Katrina, and have an amazing rest of your life, or however long you're gonna be in Mexico. Enjoy the beach, enjoy all of that, and thank you for being a part of our show today.
Thank you, Sharvette, for having me. It was definitely a pleasure.
All right, no problem. Thank you. All right, it is a wrap for today. And again, this segment was brought to you by the Platform Builder Program. Listen, open for enrollment. Enrollment closes on Friday. So wherever you're watching, there's a link there to find out more, schedule a Zoom. You don't have to have the Zoom by Friday. You just need to have a schedule. Orientation kicks off next Thursday, July 17th. And we're excited this is season 10. They started calling each other seasons at some point, actually between the first group cohort and second cohort, they started calling each other seasons. So this is actually season 10. We're excited to work with phenomenal, amazing women who are focused on their marketing, their visibility, and their branding. So jump over to platformbuilder.biz and look down below in the show notes. You have the link there. And it is a wrap. Thank you for those that have been hanging out here with us. Thank you, Gwen. You've been hanging out with us here and putting some good commentary. Thank you, Roberto, all the way from New York, on in some good commentary as well. April, good to see you. And the rest of you that are here. Patricia, yes, season 4 in the house there. Thank you all so much. It's a wrap. We'll see you all later on the web. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.